Good morning. Hello, my name is Peter Dulborough. Welcome to the British Institute of Florence, to the Lungana Guicciardini Harold Acton Library. I'm a teacher at the British Institute, and I'm here today to talk about culture and, in particular, poetry. Now, of course, studying grammar and widening vocabulary is a very important part of learning any language. But I think also contact with the literature, the music, and the art which any country produces is a really important way of enriching our experience of learning the language. And so today I would like to start a series of videos on poems which have been written in English. And to start with, I'm going to talk about a poet and a poem which I like very much, John Masefield. John Masefield was a poet laureate in the United Kingdom from 1930 until his death in 1967. And John Masefield went to King's School in Warwick, and when he was only 15, he went to sea, and he was sailing on quite large ships, and he worked for a time in New York before he returned to England in 1897. And he produced a series of short poems about the sea, and I thought I would share one of the poems with you today. And the poem is called Sea Fever. And the reason I've chosen this poem is, above all, I think, for the rhythm and the repetition and the atmosphere created. You get a real feel of actually being by the sea. Now, maybe sometimes you see poems about the sea as being rather romantic or maybe rather flowery and sweet. Well, this is written by a man who was a sailor, and you get this sense of the realistic feeling of being on the sea. And at the same time, I think you get this deep sense of a longing and a desire for the sea. And that's why I like this poem so much. And as far as the poem is organised, it's written with couplets, rhyming couplets. But the essential part, I think, of this is it's rather irregular. And the rhythm which is created by this irregularity in the shifts of the metre of the poem, create this real sense of forward movement and the sense of being on the sea. So I'm going to read the poem to you now. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get this sense of the feeling of the movement of being on the sea. And just one thing to point out, at the end of the poem, it says, when the long trick is over. Now, a trick is a task or some type of duty which a sailor had to do. It doesn't refer to the end of life, but it refers to that. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and sky. And all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And the wheels kick, and the wind's song, and the white sails shaking, and a grey mist on the sea's face, and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying, and the flung spray, and the blown spume, and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick's over. I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you again in the future for more poems from the British Institute Facebook page. Thank you. Goodbye.